Hello, welcome back. Welcome back to my channel. I am Rachel, the Stationery Chick. Today we are going to make a project that not too many of us that are in the stationery business, we don't make too many of these. And it is called the hidden binder. So as you can see on the outside, you got your spine, your front and your back cover. But if you open it up, your spine is hidden on the inside. So that is what we are going to make today. So let's go over our materials. Let's set this to the side. So you will need some double-sided tape or sheets. And you need to have this on the side just in case. Say for instance, if the sticker paper that you're using is not good, you can have your backup with your double-sided sheets or double-sided tape. Okay, you're going to need your interior pages. This is 24-pound paper. It is very light dot grid. You can see it. It's like a really light gray. I printed these myself. I wasn't happy with how light they were, so I did a whole new template for my dot grid paper. Let's set this to the side. You are going to need some type of measuring tool. This is the Perfect Fractional Ruler. I highly recommend this. It is in my Amazon storefront. You are going to need your twin wire. This is, I think, 3/8 twin wire for the amount of sheets we're going to use. I believe it's 50 sheets at 24 pounds. You will need some type of cutting tool. Whether it is a rotary blade, you can use an X-Acto knife, a box cutter, whichever one you're comfortable with. You are going to need your overlay for your spine, your chipboard. You're going to need your interior lining. You're going to need your exterior. Now this I got from Dollar Tree. I think it's really pretty. It's kind of trending around. Dollar Tree has some peel and stick wallpaper for about $1.50 a sheet. And we're going to use this print. You're going to need your chipboard. Today I'm going to use 50 point. 20 point is fine. 30 point is fine. Whichever one you're comfortable with. Sit that there. And this is what I was speaking of earlier. Just a couple of minutes ago. Double-sided adhesive sheet. So say for instance you purchase some wallpaper. And let's just say that the adhesive on the back is just not of good quality. So just have some double-sided adhesive sheets, or as I mentioned, some double-sided tape on the side, because you will be able to put it on the back of that and just make sure everything sticks really good. This is listed in my Amazon storefront. This one as well is listed in my Amazon storefront. So let's sit that to the side. And last but not least, you will need the star of the show, which is your Cinch binding machine. Make sure your pegs are pushed in. So first we're going to sit this to the side for now. So first we are going to cut our chipboard. And you can make these in different sizes. Sometimes it's just a preference how big or how small you want it. This one, let's see, where did I put it? This one is kind of like a, what I would say, medium. It's not small and it's not medium. It's kind of in between. And this one turned out to be 4.5 by 7.5. So you can make these even smaller if you want to. So we're just going to trim up our chipboard. And I am going to do my spine. Let's see. How big do I want my spine? And your spine is going to be determined on the size wire that you are going to use. Because and your wire is going to be smaller than your spine, because you want to be able to fold over. So you want to have enough room when you cinch it. You need to have enough room for when you fold and close your book. It won't be any problem. So I can show you an example of one that I was working on. Let's see. This one is like a demo one. So my spine on this one is, let's see, about 3/4. But if I'm not mistaken, these wires are 1-inch wires. So these were too big because my spine is actually smaller than my wire. So keep that in mind. So whatever size your spine is, your wire needs to be smaller. So even if you have a larger wire, then you need to increase your spine size. Okay? So let's finish trimming up our chipboard. And these projects, they are really quick. Once you learn the steps in the process, they tend to move pretty quickly. Like if you wanted to do a batch, you know, for a gift, a holiday or something like that, you could really whip these up quickly. Okay, so let's move those pieces to the side. So we have our front, we have our spine, okay, and we have our exterior. Okay, so no matter what size you make your hidden binder notebook, make sure that you leave at least a 1/2 inch on all 4 sides. So I'm just going to take this. Now this is Dollar Tree's wallpaper, and just from previous experience on another book, I know that Dollar Tree's wallpaper, the adhesive, even though it's sticky, it's still not of good quality where it stays stuck down. So what I can do is just grab a piece. Let's see. I'm trying to see, do I want to put a whole sheet down or not? I might put a whole sheet down. Let's see. Yeah, I'm just gonna put the whole sheet down because I've already experienced Dollar Tree's peel and stick wallpaper, and it kept coming up around the edges. So I'm just going to center this right here. And what I'm going to do is, around the edges, I am going to put some double-sided tape. I'm going to use my roll. probably the 1/4 inch, and I will put it around the edges just to make sure everything sticks really good. So I'm going to grab my little pokey tool, and we are going to lift up the backing off of our double-sided adhesive paper. And now we are going to lay our chipboard, and we're going to try to just eyeball, just make sure you get about a 1/2 inch. Let's see, about right there. And then we're going to take our chipboard, we're going to do about 1/8 inch in between, and just trying to make sure you line everything up. And that looks like we have kind of even on all 4 sides. Okay, so now what I want to do is I'm going to take my 1/4 inch double-sided tape, and I'm just going to go right along the edges. So even though the wallpaper is sticky, I just want to be sure that when I get ready to fold over and get ready to crease everything, that nothing comes up. And it's always good to have some double-sided tape when you're working on your projects. It comes in handy. I'm just trying to make sure I keep it along the edge. Then we're going to trim right there, and then we're going to do our sides. Okay. And sometimes it may take, when it comes to double-sided tape and the double-sided sheet, sometimes, you know, you may have to make a couple of purchases before you can find that really good one. The double-sided adhesive sheets that I have in my storefront, they are very, very good. And also I have double-sided rolls that are very good. So if you want to take a look at those, they are listed in my storefront. Okay, so now what you can do is you can do one or two things. You can pre-crease your paper if you want, or if you wanted to go ahead and miter your corners, you could do that as well. So I'm just going to peel back all of my tape, and then we're going to miter our corners. There we go. And when you miter your corners, just be really careful not to go right into the chipboard. Just go right above. When you do your pre-creases, it kind of helps you because it gives you like an indentation where to cut. Just go right above it. And see, since I've added the double-sided tape, it's making the wallpaper way more stickier than what it naturally is. So we're going to take our squeegee and we are going to run it up the side so it'll stick to the side, and then we're going to fold it over. I really enjoy working with wallpaper because it has that coating protection, like you don't have to laminate it. It gives you that protection already. Let me lift this up a little bit and get that bubble out. There we go. Okay, and then we're going to rotate it. And we're going to do the same thing. Run it up the side and fold it over. And then we're going to take our flat without the felt on it, and we are going to crease our spine. Okay. And there you have your casing. If you want to, you can just take your squeegee and you can smooth it. Go along the spine. And that is what our casing is looking like. So next what we want to do is we want to take our spine overlay, and that is going to go right there. So what's going to happen is when we get ready to put our lining on, that's going to help seal that up so that you won't be able to see the spine. Because where is our book? So if you can see right here, if we open it up, if we did not have our little overlay right here, you would be able to see that chipboard. So that's why we are putting that strip of overlay over our spine first. Okay. So I am going to get my double-sided tape, and I'm going to use a 1/2 inch. This one is a 1/2 inch. And I'm going to make sure that I get it close to the edge, because I want to make sure everything sticks down with no problem. There is no lifting up. Now I'm just going to trim it right alongside, rotate it. Just run it right along the edge. Okay. Like right there. Got a little piece sticking out. I'm just going to trim that off. And I have a little strip right there in the middle. And I'm just going to take the 1/4 inch and I'm just going to come right down the middle. Just to make sure everything gets sealed. Okay. Turn it over and trim it off. There we go. And let's smooth this out of the way. Grab our little pokey tool, bring in our casing, and we are going to peel our backing off. And there are so many cute wallpaper patterns, y'all, especially on Amazon. You can find some really cute patterns. So let's see, what is our top and what is our bottom? Let's see. I think okay, I think I like this one. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with this one as the front. Okay. So I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna try to center this where it's even. And I'm kind of looking at my two spines. I'm trying to center it right there. Right there. And then just smooth it right there. And then we're just going to make sure we put our creases back in there. Okay. just rub it in there, okay? Alright, so now we are going to set our casing to the side. And the other tool I forgot to mention was a scoring board. You will need a scoring board. So this is my Elks tools, and this one is also listed in my Amazon store if you want to receive this one. On the back you have another little tool that you can use for your projects. And it also comes in another size. So depending on what projects you're making, if you have a small one but you have a larger project, this one of course would be best. And if you have small projects, you can just pull this one out. Okay, so we are going to grab our interior lining, and we are going to do our first score, which is going to be the middle. So whatever size you're making on your interior lining, find the middle of your score, of your page. Find the middle, and then you're going to score right down. So I am just going to take this, and I'm going to just fold it in half. If you don't have a scoring board, you can just, of course, put your two corners together, and then you can score. Or you can just crease your paper. I'm just lining it up, and I'm just going to flatten it out. Okay? And I'm going to take it this way. I'm just going to make sure. Okay, so next what we want to do, pull your scoreboard back in. Next we are going to score a 1/2 inch on this side and a 1/2 inch on the left. So from your middle score, you're going to score 1/2 inch to the right and a 1/2 inch to the left. I am just going to fold mine, and I'm just going to bring it in, and I'm going to score. And I'm just going to flip it and repeat. Okay. And that is all the scoring that you're going to do. You have your middle score, a 1/2 inch to the right and a 1/2 inch to the left. So let me move this out of the way. And then what we want to do is we want to take the right side, and we are going to fold that crease up like that. And then just press and just flip it over and fold it up. This is some pretty, not thick cardstock, but as you can hear, it's not thin. And I'm just going to take this and just flatten that out. So you should have something that looks like this. A little accordion in the middle. And what this does is, when we get ready to place it in our casing, it's going to look like this. So just make sure you line up your lining with the edge of your overlay, so everything will be nice and neat. and it will look like that. Okay, so now the next thing we need to do is we need to punch. So we're going to fold it out like this, and then we are going to punch where we scored it. So we're going to grab our cinch machine. And I'm going to make sure all of my pegs are pushed in. And I am going, well, first I'm going to make sure nothing is stuck in its was. You see, I got a little piece popped out right there. So check before you punch, make sure nothing is stuck up under there. You don't want any missed punches. So now I'm making sure it is flushed against that back wall. My ruler guide is it's all the way in. And then I am going to press. Okay. So now I'm going to slide my guide all the way out. I'm going to put my little lock button in the second hole right here. Okay. For the size I am making, I am going to pull out peg number 3. I like to pull out the peg number 4 as well, or the peg that's behind any other peg when I am doing a project. It's just a safety precaution for me. And then I'm going to press. And there we have our lining. So we have that done. You can push your pegs back in, slide your ruler guide back in for now. Okay, so let's put that to the side. And while we have our cinch machine, let's go ahead and punch our papers. And make sure you have nothing underneath. Press. And again, this is 24-pound paper that I am using. Sometimes I use between 24-pound and 28-pound, but I believe this is 24-pound paper. And for the size wire that I'm using, which is 3/8, the maximum that paper that I can put in here is 40 to 50 sheets, and that depends on the weight of the paper. So if you have thicker paper, you're probably, for this size that I am using, I would probably have to use less paper. So I'm probably somewhere around 40. But I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I believe I have 50. I believe I have 50 in here. Okay. So I am going to slide my guide out. I'm going to pull out peg number 3 and number 4. Lock in. Press. And locking in. Press. Now my punches are a little bit closer to the top on this one. I really am doing this by play. I didn't take the time to do any calculations or measuring. Let's see. Because as you can see here, let's move this up a little bit. As you can see here, there is equal amount of spacing on the bottom and on the top. This one, I just did not do any calculations. I just wanted to come on and show you how to prepare this style. So forgive me for that. Forgive me for that. So we got our interior lining and we have our paper. So what we are going to do, we're going to bring our cinch in. We are going to turn it to the side, and our wire is 3/8, okay? So push her there. Now this is just a small project, so I can hold my wire in my hand like this, okay? Just make sure all of your pages are inside your wire. And I can place my ring. And I'm just going to make sure, let's see. Want to make sure, because when we cinch it together and then we open it up, so I was right the first time. Forgive me, it's been a minute since I made this. So when you open this up, that is what it's going to look like, okay? So it's like when we put it inside our book, it would be like this, okay? So we are going to pull our cinch machine back in. And this is what you do. Before you cinch anything, make sure, test it out, do your test run. Make sure you test it out before you press your wires to make sure that everything is in the right position. So our curve is going to be at the top and our flat is going to be at the bottom. And we are going to flush everything to that back wall. Let's see if we can get everything up under here. Looks like we can get them pressed in one press. Okay. I don't know why on the cinch machine, when it comes to the small wires, it just will not press. So we're going to just take our hands and we're going to press it in. Does anybody else have that problem? When you are doing these small wires, for some reason, on the cinch machine, when it comes to the tiny wires, it doesn't want to press. So there we go. So now we are going to set our cinch machine to the side. Okay. And what we're going to do, I'm going to put some double-sided adhesive sheets on the back, on the left and the right. So essentially what we're going to do is we are going to line up this crease with the crease of our spine. That is how we are going to lay that in. We're going to do one side at a time. We're going to stick that down and then we will repeat, and then you will lift it up and you will line the other one up like that. So we are going to grab our double-sided sheets. Now if you don't have sheets, you can use the double-sided tape that's on the roll. Okay. And if you don't have the sheets or the double-sided tape roll, you can use glue. I am not a fan of glue because it kind of like warps my paper and I just don't like the outcome of it. Or maybe I'm just using it wrong. So if anyone have any tips Put it down in the comments how you use the glue, because so far I have not been having any luck at all with using the glue. Not sure what I'm doing wrong, and I'm not putting too much on. You know, I do a little bit at a time when I use it, but I've tried to twice do the glue method and it's not working. It's not working for me. Let me put it that way. It's not working for me. Okay, so we've got our 2 pieces cut, and I am going to peel back a little bit at a time, and I'm going to line this up. Try to get it close to the edge. And whatever I have left over, hold on, because yeah, let me trim this down. Let me get my ruler and let's trim this down. Try that again. Okay, where's my pencil? The pen doesn't want to work. And let me come up here. Okay, and let's try it. Let me try to cut both of them at the same time. Save a little bit of time, save a little bit of time. Okay. I just took my markings and lined it up with the line on my mat, just so I can make sure everything is even. Okay. All right, let's try this again. Let's peel this back a little bit. Okay, and let me turn it this way. I'm just lining up my corner, and I'm gonna line it up with this corner. Okay. If you need to lay it flat, do that as well. If we get any hangover, we'll trim that off. And I'm just taking my ruler and I am just sliding it down. Okay. So let's see if we have any overhang. Just a little bit. I'm just going to take my rotary blade and just trim that off. There we go. And let's repeat that for this side. So we're going to take our double-sided adhesive sheet. And remember, if you don't have the adhesive sheet, definitely use the double-sided tape that's on the roll. So let's line it up right there. I'm going to lay this flat, and I'm going to smooth this out. Come on. There we go. And just grab your squeegee. Press that in. Okay. And that side looks good. Okay. Make sure that you checking your spine and make sure that this is on the back. Where you cinched that is on the back. And your front looks like this, okay? So now what we're going to do is we're going to bring our casing back in. Okay, and we're just taking a look at it and seeing how it looks. Just lining it up before we stick everything down, okay? And my lining, I got it lined up with that overlay right there. So what I can do is I can lift this up, okay? And I can get my little pokey tool and I can lift up my backing, peel that off just like that, and then I can gently make sure everything is lined up. You have to lift it up. Now y'all, this double-sided sheet that I told you all about that is listed in my Amazon storefront, this is some really good tape, y'all. So just make sure that when you are lining it up, that you are getting your spacing right, and then lay it down. Now if you are off just a little bit, don't worry about that. It's just a tiny bit, but you do need to make sure that you are lining it up. That's not too bad. If I wanted to, I probably could lift this up and trim that off, but we're not going to do that. So now I'm going to come over on this side. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to lift up my backing. Okay. And now I'm going to bring it over this way. Okay. And I'm just making sure that I'm lining it up really good. Okay. And then I can take my squeegee, press that in, lift this up, make sure everything is stuck down. Okay. And then don't forget to take your squeegee and put your creases in, okay? Let me make sure. This is some thick cardstock, so and I'm just going to and I'm pressing pretty good in this. Okay. So there we have it. Just make sure everything is stuck down. And I'm just going to run this in here again because I want to make sure it folds with no problem. Let's flip this up. And just make sure my crease is in there really good. And as you can see, this cardstock is pretty good. It's thick. I'm really pressing on it and it's not tearing. And also the double-sided sheets is helping it as well. So there you have it. And as you can see, when you put that overlay on that spine, you can't see the chipboard on the inside on that as well. And if you open it up, you have the matching lining. So there you have it. And you can just write your notes, your shopping list, grocery list. You can also, if you want to, you can add an elastic band on the back if you want to. But you can put something heavy on there and leave it on for maybe 24 hours and it will stay closed like this. So yeah. And now I use cardstock in this, but this cardstock is not as thick as this one. So that could be an issue as well. But yeah, put something heavy on it for about 24 hours and it will stay closed just like this with no problems. So there you have it, your hidden binder. You have your chipboard, your spine on the outside. You open it up and you have your pages on the inside. Make sure that you are using the right size wire for the spine that you are using. The spine, I believe I did, was 3/4 and the wire is 3/8. So my wire is definitely smaller than my spine. There you have it. Until next time. Bye.